Page 292, Basi Legani, Tovshin Chof. The last thing that the Rebbe is explaining is the Friedrich Rebbe asked the question, why are the Yidden called Tzivos Hashem if such a name didn't exist? So he explains the question more based on what the Alter Rebbe says. Okay, the Alter Rebbe says that nobody called him Tzvokis until Chana did, because he says like this. The concept of a name is the level of Elokus, the way it's revealed. So normally it's Elokus revealed in the world of Atzilus. Tzvokis is the name of Elokus, the way it comes into Tzava, into the Malachim, which are the world of Bria. And he says, because that's a completely different level. It's not the level the way it is in Atzilus, it's actually the way it is, comes into Bria. And therefore he says like this, in Moshe Rabbeinu's time when the world was in the level of Atzilus, so that's like a candle in sunlight. What would the name Tzvokis, where Elokus comes into Bria, why would that have any bearing? So therefore it wasn't called the name Tzvokis. But once the Nevi'im came around, which is a much lower level, and he says even Yeshua is like the moon. How much more so is Cain, Nevi'im, and so on and so forth. Okay, so he says 292. He says, so the bottom line, the last three lines of the previous paragraph, the Rebbe said, now we can understand the real power of the question that even the Yoni of Moshe, the Dardeya, you can't have the Inyan of Tzava because Tzava the way it comes into Bria. And this is the world of Atzilus, so therefore why are they didn't called Tzivos Hashem? Says the Yuvan B'Teisid Beer, and we'll understand it by first explaining Mashem Avayir, Chakmei Moram Soy, the Divrei HaMaschal Zeh, what the Mittel Rebbe says in the Maimon, this Divrei HaMaschal. She'achilek ben Shem Tzvokis the Shar Shem is the difference between Tzvokis and all the other names, Al Derech HaChilek ben Shem HaPa'ula, or Shem HaKinoi, the Shem HaTayar, Va'ad, the Shem HaEtzim. There's a difference between a name what's called Shem HaPa'ula, or Shem HaKinoi. There's an adjective, or the way there was somebody doing something. You're going to give him a mashal of a chochem, like, but whatever. You have a name which is describing the person, or the way the person functions. There's a big difference between that and the essential name of the person. The essential name of the person is not the way the person functions. That's the names, the way he identifies with everybody else. But you say a person, an adjective. You say he's kind. That's the way he acts. He's mean. That's the way he acts. He's intelligent. That's the way. But then you have the essence of it. We'll see. He's going to explain it. The Teichen in Biksaruhu, it says the Teichen of the Inyan in brief, because the Mittel Rebbe elaborates a lot on it. The Shem or Etzem or Adugma B'ish Chochma. Like you say a person is a Chocham, Shul Chocham Batzem Mohusei. He's an essential Chocham. It's not only the way he teaches that he shows Chochma or he teaches Chochma. A Chocham, whether he teaches or not, whether he reveals the Chochma or not, there's an essential thing that he's a Chocham. He's smart. Hainu, Masha ben Neshama, Shala Yesh Etz, and Boti Pesik. There's an essence that doesn't stop. Uvilti Modul Mogbul Shel Chochma. And it's not limited, in revealing Chochma. He said, the Shem HaTayar, the adjective is, Masha Klei, Meichad Uchniim Shetzrichim, the Kabbalah Gilum Etzim Kercha, Ein Kelim Rechavim B'Yeseh, are broad vessels, and then he's able to teach it. Val Shem Zeh Nikra B'Tei Chochma, Sheyuchel Lekabel Chochma Abli Shir. Meaning like this. There's the essence of the person's neshama, which has Chochma. And then there's the way the person's Chochma becomes tangible, that he's able to learn a lot, he's able to know a lot and understand a lot. That's the way the neshama's attribute of Chochma already comes down, not in the essence of Chochma, the way it comes down into the vessels of the wide brain vessels, that he can understand something to unlimited. There's a pasuk in the Nil that says, give Chochma to a smart guy. Yoav Chochma, Give Chochma l'Chochmas. So the question is, Kivin shein Chakimim, if they're already smart, what are you giving them Chochma? They already have Chochma. One second. Achabiyod, the beer is like this. Chakimin, yeah, is Shem Atayah, is the adjective. Lemisha Sichle, Sheklei Meicha, Yuchel, Mekabel Chochma, Gedele, Vamuka B'Yesa. In other words, like this. There is Yoiv, what is the pasuk? Chochma, Chochma is lechakimin. Lechakimin represents the broad vessels of understanding. Why is he a Chochma? He has a broad mind, a big head, a deep head. Those are kalim, so to speak, and that's the kalim, the way it processes the level of Chochma. So what the pasuk says, give the essence of Chochma into the kalim of Chochma. Va'az yav Chochma shenim shechoyat gilu mi'etzim koyach HaChochma. That from the essence of Chochma it becomes revealed umisatzem imetzim HaChochma, and it becomes one with the essence of Chochma shebemenu nimshach shefarah bilti modud umugbo. So he says like this: there is the koyach of Chocham, the koyach of Chochma, and then you have the way the Chochma is actually revealed in the Kalim. Okay? The way it's functioning, Chochma. You have the way Chochma is by itself. What?
Keli is the brain.
The Keli is the brain. Now, Chocham, the koyach of Chochma is in the neshama. That's the essence of Chochma. Now, when it comes into the brain, into the Kalim of the brain, then it becomes Chochmasa. Then it becomes the practical Chochma. Then it becomes the descriptive Chochma, the adjective Chochma. But the way it is in the Neshama, that's the essence of Chochma. And then you also have the adjective of the way it works. Meaning, it comes into actual Chochma. He can even teach it. He can teach it outside of him. So you have the way Chochma is in the nefesh, and then the way the Chochma comes into the broad kalim of the brain. But then you have the way Chochma functions, the way he's able to teach. You know, there's an interesting expression in Yiddish, but it's I think a Chassidish expression. I mean, it's Rebbe is felt in the Hasbara, felt in Adana. If you're lacking explaining it, you're lacking understanding it. Now, you have also another interesting factor. You can have brilliant people, mamish brilliant people, they cannot teach little kids. They can't lower themselves down to a level of children because their brain is, I wouldn't say college level because that doesn't mean too much, but postgraduate level, whatever it is, in a brilliant way, yeah? But they can't lower it to teach an 8th grade. You can have an unbelievable Torah scholar, but he cannot teach 8th graders. Not babies. He can't teach 8th graders. He can only go way above their heads. A greater level of Chochma is that he's able to take this deep Chochma and lower it even to an 8th grade level, 5th grade level, 10th grade level, whatever it is. That's even a deeper level of Chochma, because the greater it is, the lower it can come down. What do you mean practice?
Practical to apply. Not just to learn
yeah, but Chochma,
but rather behave or practice it.
That's not Chochma anymore. That's the way Chochma affects the way you eat and walk and talk, and you know what I mean? Like the Rambam says in Ochos Deis, a Chacham, Torah Chacham, is nicker. You could recognize him the way he eats, drinks, walks, lives. Okay, but that's not Chochma anymore. That's where Chochma comes in, affects the midas. Here we're talking about the level of Chochma by itself, not the way it affects. We're talking the way it affects the level of Chochma, that he can teach Chochma. You can have a brilliant scholar, like we learned many times. You can have Aristotle. That the Rambam wrote about him, Chocham Gadol Hoya. The Rambam wrote about Aristotle, Chocham Gadol. And he taught morals and ethics, And as the Rebbe told the story many times, he was once caught doing an immoral act. So the student said to him, so he said, now I'm not Aristotle. Which means you could be brilliant, but the brilliance doesn't come into practical living. You can have a doctor, a brilliant doctor, he can give you 1,000,000 lectures about eating habits and smoking habits and all that, and yet don't do it themselves. L'chayda doesn't make sense. The answer is, the Chochma is one thing, and the action is something else. In Torah, the Gemara says, if you learn and don't bring it down to action, you should have never been born. You should have never been conceived. Because Torah is Hira, Torah is not Chochma. That's why the Gemara, the Medrash says, if somebody tells you, Chochma yesh bagoyim, if somebody tells you Goyim have Chochma, Tamim, believe him. Torah yesh bagoyim al Tamim. Okay, let's get back here. It says, Shahu in Yingili al Azulis. That's the way Chochma is revealed to somebody else. But Yingili b'poyel. That's b'poyel ad sheyuchol of the Yingili al Azulis, who ba'if and madud umugba. That's already a limited level of Chochma. Okay, page 293. That's already a limited level of Chochma. Moving from where you can understand. Gerdol richo ka'erech ben shema pu'ula. Gam k'mei shubadam atzme shiyoch achakach le'er al-zulis l'shema toya v'shema etzem shemisachtem u'misatzmim zeh b'zeh, like it says Yom Chochma l'chakimen. Meaning this, there's the essential name and there's the shema pu'ula, the way the Chochma functions. The essence is the way Chochma exists in the neshama. That's unlimited. The neshama itself has unlimited Chochma. The only reason it doesn't when it comes into the body, because when it comes functioning in the body, the brain is limited. So therefore the neshama is, that's why it's brought down in Sfarim that they used to say that the Rebbe said a Maamar, a lot of people didn't know what he was talking about. Well, the Rebbe would say Maamar, a lot of people, but he says it's all the neshama hears.
That's emuna, no?
No, the neshama hears, meaning the neshama's level of a lakus and Chochma understands it. The body is the problem, because when the Chochma comes into poyol, then it doesn't. It's limited, and if you're limited, then you don't get deeper understanding. But in the essence of Chochma, so he says, Shazel chiluk shebein gvul b'li gvul. This is the difference between infinite, which is Shema Etzem, to the level, b'li gvul, which is the Shema Etzem, to the level of gvul, which is Shema Pu'ula. In other words, very simple. There's the level of Chochma, the way it is in the Neshama, which is b'li gvul. Then when the Neshama Chochma comes into functioning in the brain, and even more so to teach it to somebody else, so then it's already gvul, it's already limited. Shayo'in yav chochma salach hakimin. Shema etzem v'shema toya. Therefore the word like this. Hakimin is the shema etzem. And you're giving him chochma. So you're giving him gvul into bli gvul. U'be'efen shal bli gvul. Ve'ilu shema pu'ula. Which is gilu b'pe'an shemach al azulis u'be'medida v'agbola. Shezeo chilik bein arech. This is an like a no comparison difference between etzem ha-chochma, which is bli gvul, and pu'ulas ha-chochma, which is the way it comes into practical understanding.
Give a picture of this seed. Not the whole this last paragraph until here, please. I'm trying to understand.
There's a difference between the essence of chochma, the way it is in the neshama, which is bli gvul, and then you have the way Chochma functions in the brain. That's limited. That's gvul. So he says,
why does it say that Hashem gives Chochma to someone who's a Chochma?
No, it says you should give. Hashem gives, you give. It means, if he's a Chochma, what are you giving him Chochma for? He already has it.
To contain Chochma.
So you're giving him the infinite level of Chochma into the kelim of his Chochma. And he said, and over there, the middle Rebbe therefore explains the difference in the 7 names, meaning Sheshem Avayu Shema Etzem. Remember, we even learned in many Maamarim Hashem Hashem. There's Hashem is one of the 7 attributes, Tiferes, right? And then there's the Shemo Etzem of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the higher level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, with Shemo Etzem, which is the essence of Hashem. Hu HaPrimish Shekol HaShemis, and therefore Mitzadif Im Kol HaShemis. Kel Elokim to the name of Tzvokes, the Yeis Bechinas Erd, because that level is the level of Erd. V'shar HaShemis is the level of Kelim. Remember at the beginning of this thing, the Rebbe was explaining what's the concept of shame. He says in Atzilus, it's the way Ord comes into the Kelim. Correct? That's the way, not Ma'or, but the way Ord comes into Kelim. The Ord HaChesed comes into Kel. The Ord HaGvura comes into Elukim. The Ord of Rachmanis comes into Yud Kei Vav Kei, and so on. Correct? But that's all the way the attribute of Hashem comes into action. That's the concept of names in Atzilus. Then you have the Shemo Etzem, which is the way the thing is by itself, not the way it's coming in, the way the Neshama has the level of Chochma. He says, Val Shema Toya Shemesachim Shemo Etzem. Okay. Ubezeh gufa, he skipped the line. Ubezeh gufa, Nikol Hashem Esem Bechinas Primius HaKelim Shemesachtim Im Ha'erd. What is the level of name? He says the Primius of Menachem, the Primius of the Keli, which is Mesachim with the Primius Ha'od, Al Der Shem HaToy Shemesachim Shem HaEtzem, and Shem Tzvokes, okay, is the level Chitzenis HaKelim. That's the way the Kelim function outwardly, al derech Shem HaPa'ula, the way, like the descriptive, I mean the way it acts, meaning like this. Tzvokes is like Shem HaPa'ula. All the other names of Hashem are called Shemo Etzem. The way Or is Misyachid in Atzilus, and the Or is Elokus, the Keli is Elokus, it's all one with it. Tzvokes, on the other hand, is the way it comes into Biyah, like he said before, and therefore it's not the way it is by itself, it's the way it's already functioning in the world, in Biyah. That means the way the name of Hashem, the Midah of Tzvokes, is functioning in Biyah. That's the way Chochma functions, not the way Chochma is by itself. There's a level of Chochma by itself. Okay, this is a little bit harder, but the next sif is easier.
Can you give a synopsis one more time, please?
1 minute, when we finish it. I'm sorry. Which is the level of Biyah. And that's the Pa'ulas HaNeviim. Because remember we said before, Moshe Rabbeinu's Atzilus, the Neviim are Biyah, right? So he says, therefore the Neviim are called Tzvokes, Shegam Sham, that even there, Yom Shechlias Iva Chayev Gamer Echad, that it should be the Keli, even in Biyah, should be the level of Atzilus. The Nevi'im brought into Biyah the level of Atzilus. Because Tzvokes is one of the 7 names of Hashem, basically refers to the level of Atzilus. But it's the way it functions, not the essential name, the way it is in Atzilus by itself, the way it functions. Let me finish this. They were in such a situation of Dordeya, a generation of Atzilus, which have no connection to Biyah, which basically is the way you function outwardly, the level of Zulas, and not the level of one. So therefore he said, like, okay, let me say what he's saying over here, and that he'll finish us up with the question. This is all it's all strengthening the question. How in the world can the Jews leaving Egypt be called Tzvokes? Because of all the names of Hashem are one with the essence of Hashem.
How in the world is
Tzvokes is the way Hashem is functioning already in the world of Biyah, which to Moshe's generation had no connection whatsoever, and therefore the name Tzvokes was never used in Moshe Rabbeinu's generation as a name of Hashem, because you're talking about Atzilus, and here you're talking about Biyah. Right? Tzvokes is the name, the way it functions, the way Chochma, so to speak, functions in Kalim. That's the way you're dealing with somebody else. But the name, the way it is by itself, that's not the name Tzvokes. So all the names,
So what is it?
Tzvokes is the way it deals in Biyah, the way it brings down Elokus into Bria Tzir Nasir.
But by itself, every name of Hashem is Yud Kevavki.
No,
The
every
essence of every name is Yud Kevavki.
the essence of Yud Kevavki unites with everybody else's name.
Every other name.
With Kel, you have you can have Hashem, Kel Hashem, Elokim. You have
Right,
all
the 7 names.
right,
So the essence of all 7 names is Yud Kevavki.
but that's not what he's bringing out over here. He's just bringing out over here
Right.
the name Tzvokes is the way the name functions in outside.
Okay.
It's a lower level. So therefore, that's the name Tzvokes.
Okay.
From all the names of Tzvokes, of Hashem, that therefore all the other names you find in Chumash.
What's it doing in Dordeya?
That's what his question is. So this strengthens the Friedrich Rebbe's question. Why were the Yidden in Mitzrayim, leaving Mitzrayim, called Tzivos Hashem?
I have another question. Why are the Jews called by one of the names of Hashem B'chlal?
Because they're part of
Not
Hashem.
God. Jews are not God. Why is Hashem calling them by one of
We're
His
Chelek Elokam Mamarim. What do you mean not part of
God?
God?
God on earth, but He's calling them God.
We're Am Kreve, we're His nation.
First time I hear that Hashem calls the Jews God.
Sure. The name of Hashem is Miyah. What does Elokeinu mean?
He's our God.
No, what? What?
He's our God.
What does that mean?
We're
Superficially,
not God. He's our God.
yeah, that means Hashem is united with us.
We're not God. He's
It
calling
doesn't
us
say
God.
we're
He's
God.
trying to prove that we're.
Does Elokeinu mean we're God?
Huh?
Does Elokeinu mean we're God?
No.
Okay, so why should this mean we're God? Hashem unites His name with us. Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov, and Elokeinu. That doesn't mean we're God. That means we're godly. It means we're godly. But one second, but we're going off track. But the question is, if Tzvokes is the Shema Pa'ula, the way that not the essence, but the way it functions in Biyah, so and in an intimation between the generation and then no connection whatsoever, it's Bein Areich. So why do you even call Tzivos Hashem? Okay, let's go back to Balzem and Taretz.
So the question that he strengthened over here was, what's basically
Why are Mahu in the last line? Why the question is Mahu Inyan Yisrael Nikra Tzivos Hashem? Why are they called Tzivos Hashem? Right.
not the error.
Balzem and Taretz and Mavar B'Maimer.
By the way, this was the question before this paragraph.
Yeah, but that's why he strengthened the question from the
How
Alter
did he
Rebbe.
strengthen
And
it? I know, I'm sorry, we're running out of time. What did this seed add?
because the Mittel Rebbe adds that this is Bein Areich. This is Shema Etzem, and this is Shema Pula, so it's even more Bein Areich. That's all. Balzem and Taretz and Mavar B'Maimer. Shashem Tzivos Havaya, the word Sava, Meloshin has 3 interpretations. Okay, the word Sava, Tzivos Hashem, has 3 meanings. Aleph, Loshin Chayil. One is a soldier. Right? What's the simple meaning is Chayal, Tzava, right? Aleph Lamata Latzava, they want to Tzava, okay. Kvishem Avar B'Amshech HaSifrim Shachar. Beis Lashon Zman Mugbo. The second interpretation of Tzava is time, limited time.
We had a little bit this yesterday, no?
I mentioned it, we didn't learn it inside. The pasuk says, where's the Saniyuv, there's a designated time for a person on earth. It's the word Tzava. And Gimel, Lashon Sivgen, V'Yafi, beauty. So there's 3, and this is what the Friedrich Rebbe explains in the original Basi Legani. There's 3 interpretations of Tzava. One is army, soldier, one is time, and one is beauty. Color, beauty. No, but beauty is multicolored. He's going to explain this whole concept.
Didn't we explain this in Sif Gimel? We said that the third explanation the Rebbe was going to explain. In the minor, he brings down the first 2, and then he said that the Rebbe explained the third one in a Sicha afterwards because he didn't say it.
No. That was about the Yeshevas Beganim, the 3 interpretations of Ganim. That's not so. Okay.